It's Thursday, May 8th, 2025, and we've got a dangerous flash flood situation unfolding in the southeast today. Plus, a significant heat wave is set to build across the northern plains next week, and a prolonged soaking is in store for many of us, especially along the east coast as we go through the next little bit. A serious flash flood emergency is underway in southeast Louisiana, especially around New Orleans and Houma. This started yesterday and continues today due to a stalled warm front and extremely moist air from the Gulf. Precipitable water levels are near record highs, leading to very efficient and dangerous rainfall. Thankfully, the worst of the heavy rain is expected to ease by around 3 p.m., although flooding impacts will linger. Tonight into tomorrow, expect spotty storms from St. Louis to Knoxville and possibly South Carolina and Texas. Some isolated hail and wind threats are possible in places like Kentucky, Tennessee, and Florida, but nothing too extreme. Overall, the next few days are relatively calm for severe weather, with only marginal risks on the severe outlook, and steer storms over the southeast, which will likely see 7 to 10 inches of rain over the next week, especially in Georgia, Florida, and the Carolinas. Meanwhile, the central U.S. will experience a significant ridge forming, locking in extremely warm air. This will cause a major May heat wave, with parts of South Dakota, North Dakota, and even southern Canada possibly reaching 100 degrees Celsius. Expect this unusual warmth from May 12-16, especially across the northern plains, Great Lakes, and upper Midwest. So let's break down these threats and more. The most immediate concern right now is the major flood threat that's unfolding across southeast Louisiana. This started yesterday. You guys were getting a ton of rain yesterday. It's still happening right now. And the Weather Prediction Center has this level 3 out of 4 moderate risk for excessive rainfall around the New Orleans area, Houma, Louisiana. We've got very deep warm cloud layers up to 11,000 OFT. We're completely saturated, which is crazy efficient for excessive rainfall. So, just know that life-threatening flash flooding is going to continue through today. Now, the good news is that by the time you watch this video, the vast majority of the heaviest action is going to be out of our hair by 300 p.m. Today, we're going to be talking about the heaviest rain exiting Louisiana. Flooding will continue for quite some time after that, but the immediate threat is going to be over pretty soon. And then honestly, things are going to calm down. Nationwide for a lot of us. And then as we go into tonight, we're going to continue to have some showers and thunderstorms, maybe sparking up around St. Louis, over here towards Knoxville, and then maybe over here around the Georgia, South Carolina border around 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. We could also have some hailers and some wind producers in Kentucky and Tennessee, maybe a couple of those, also happening in Florida. And then of course, as we get into the evening and early morning hours on the 9th of May, things calm down again, and we're just going to continue to have these pulsing storm problems over the next 3 days. This is as calm as we've seen it in a while. There's not even a slight risk anywhere, but a marginal risk does exist down here in Louisiana, over towards the panhandle of Florida, back up towards Oklahoma. The marginal risk expands tomorrow as we have that daytime heating leading to pulse thunderstorms from Louisiana into the deep south, over into the Tennessee Valley, and then up into Virginia, maybe on the eastern side of the Appalachian Mountains. And then as we go into the Day 3 outlook, Friday, May 9th, we've actually got very minimal severe storm activity expected at all. Maybe a couple of thunder boomers down here in northern Florida, southeast Georgia, southern portions of South Carolina. But for the most part, looks okay. But as we go into the future, things are going to get pretty strange. And we're going to have a much larger ridge form in the middle here. And this is going to lead to all kinds of interesting weather. We're going to have a traditional soaking in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, over the next 7 days. Some of these places could see over 7 inches of rain, maybe even 10 inches of rain. And we're about to get much more in depth on that right here in a second. Starting as early as tomorrow, we've got a slight risk of excessive rainfall continuing in Louisiana. And essentially what's happening here is our baby Omega system is going to dump a ton of rain over the East Coast. And during the transition, a new kind of low-pressure system is going to form here and send even more moisture up into these areas. And then as that ridge forms over here, this upper-level low is going to become more solidified. And it's just going to continue to crank moisture from the Atlantic and the Gulf up into these southeastern states. But watch what happens as I push this forward. As we get a little bit more kind of locked in here, the focus shifts from rain in the southeast and more towards maybe rain in the southwest and this huge persistent ridge that's forming in the central US. And once that transverses over into the plains, that might actually lead to a little bit of a quieter situation for a brief period of time. But the thing that we're most concerned with here, and the thing that's actually going to be impactful for a lot of people, is the temperature anomaly that's going to come along with this. So watch how these above-average temperatures are going to build in the northern US as we go into the weekend and into early next week. We could be talking about temperatures approaching 100 degrees in southern Canada. We're definitely going to see temperatures over 100 degrees out here, potentially in South Dakota and North Dakota. So this is going to be a real heat wave for May, up here in this part of the world. Now, I'm not certain that we'll hit 100 degree widespread. I think there will be a couple of places, but definitely in the 9s, maybe even in the mid to upper 90s for the vast majority of the people here in the Browns. That's going to be significantly above average. Looking at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, we're going to have once again above average temperatures up here between May 12th and May 16th, moving a little bit farther east, over in Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin. That's going to bleed over into the greater Great Lakes region as well. And then we're going to have much below average temperatures over here in the west. And what I think is going to happen is after the middle of May, this warm air, this ridge that's kind of been forming here, is going to park itself over the eastern United States. And then we're not really going to have much of an omega block pattern anymore. We're going to have our traditional severe weather situation where we have cooler air in the west, warmer air in the east, and we have storm systems that try to rip up through the middle of that. So, I think we're going to have a little bit of a break, honestly, over the next little bit in terms of severe weather. So, let's enjoy that, because I think what comes after that is a pretty intense run of severe weather as we close out May, and hopefully June will be quiet again. But we're going to have one more big bang, I think, as we go through the end of May. And that's all the weather talk I have for you today. That's all for today's weather update. Stay safe out there, especially if you're in the flood zones, and take advantage of the calm while it lasts. Remember, things could ramp up again later this month. Don't forget to check out Ground News to stay informed from all angles. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next update. Thank you so much for watching.